Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Gabriel and I'm industrial designer at DreamQii. This is my first video, but some of you might know me already a little bit, either from my PlexiDrone fan page or from customer support even. So to those people, hello again. Question of the day is, what is PlexiDrone exactly? As a designer, it is my job to not only design the physical components that make up PlexiDrone, but also do it in such a way so that it's easy to use, and to do all that without compromising any core functionality. So with that in mind, how do we make a product like that easy to use? And furthermore, how do we do that without limiting your creativity? So thankfully, you can get to know PlexiDrone with just 3 of its main features. Since this is my first video, I think it's worth talking about just the main core features of PlexiDrone right now. And you know what PlexiDrone is exactly and how it is different from everything else, really. So I'm going to talk about those 3 things, and those are that PlexiDrone is portable, powerful, and professional. So first, let's get started with portability. PlexiDrone was conceived at a time when portability wasn't even on the radar by anyone else creating drones at the time. At least not in a realistic way. Your only real option was a big case, or just you were just left to figure it out on your own somehow. So the drone cases at the time really are pretty basic. They were fairly heavy, and you know, an efficient use of space, and they were also really clunky, which especially sucks when you consider, like, often at times those cases were designed to be held with just one hand. There's one handle, you know, you hold it up to the side, it's a big clunky thing, you carry this around, it's not fun. So how do we do things differently? How did we, DreamQii, fix all that? Well, PlexiDrone was designed with PlexiPack in mind, a backpack specifically to hold PlexiDrone and all of its accessories. Basically everything that you need to fly and then some. What mostly makes this possible is PlexiDrone's modular design. The backpack doesn't need to account for the whole volume, with its arms way out, with the landing gear way out this way. Just imagine if you can take off like the arms and the landing gear and the payload and store that in a space that is otherwise not used. When you cut that stuff away, you'll see that the drone body is actually quite compact. And now that big cardboard box that you needed previously to fit the whole drone can now be cut to 1/3 of the size. And suddenly, that's a size that you can wear. Oh, one more thing. PlexiPack is modular too. So if you want to wear a PlexiPack to haul around other cool stuff, that's no problem. Just take out the pockets and there you go. Now you have just a regular backpack. The PlexiPack is designed for real people. And I can tell you it's the most comfortable backpack that I've ever put on. And I say that, you know, despite carrying a full flight's worth of stuff, and that includes 3 batteries. Everything that you need to fly is wrapped into one small package. So you can carry that wherever you go. And it looks pretty cool, if I can say so myself. Let's talk about one of PlexiDrone's other big main features. And that's power. Power is made possible thanks to the X8 configuration. Again, because PlexiDrone is modular, you can go from the base X4 model and you can just snap in the X8 arms instead, and suddenly you have nearly twice the thrust. And with that, PlexiDrone is just that little more stable, and you have now widely broadened what is possible to capture from a drone. With the power of X8, your flight is less likely to be ruined by a sudden strong wind, because the X8 can handle a stronger wind. And of course, more power in the form simply means that, you know, it simply translates into PlexiDrone being way faster. It goes up to just under 9 kilometers an hour, 55 miles per hour. Nothing to complain about. With PlexiDrone, you, the photographer, the filmmaker, you're not limited by the tool you're using to capture aerial footage. Not everybody films the same stuff. right? So with that extra power, now you can track objects that are way faster than, say, your average person running, if that's your typical footage. Obviously, power and speed is cool, and of course PlexiDrone is one of the fastest consumer drones that you can order. But what's more interesting is that this more powerful XA configuration actually adds a whole nother level of safety to a drone, and this is the sort of thing that a drone with 4 propellers simply isn't capable of. And that is something that is explained a little bit more detail on the DreamQii website in another YouTube video. But anyway, in any case, just plain flying fast is a lot of fun. So one last great thing about this extra power is that you can carry professional cameras. See, professional cameras tend to be a little bit heavier than your typical GoPro or your Sony Action Cam, and they as well require a little bit more of a heavy-duty gimbal that holds it, and that tends to be a little bit heavier as well. So that adds up, and so you need a more powerful drone to not only carry that extra weight, but to carry that extra weight well. And so what I mean is, you add that extra weight, and so you need the extra power, and so that way you can ensure that PlexiDrone is still able to maintain stability. It's able to maneuver just exactly the way you were expected to. It remains predictable, and with that is how you can capture that higher quality footage. Use a much better camera, and you're not limited by the drone itself. And that's where the professional aspect of PlexiDrone really comes in. So the power and modularity is what makes PlexiDrone for professionals. But, and this is a big but, by no means does that mean someone who's flying a drone for the first time can't fly it. It's just the opposite, and that is made especially true with the PlexiHub CS controller. What I mean is that PlexiDrone can be the only drone you ever need to buy. It can be your first drone. You can fly with just the GoPro. It does come with the gimbal for GoPro as standard anyway. And then, eventually make your way up to the Sony RS100 if you're looking to capture some higher quality footage. But of course, if you already have the Sony RS100 and you already have the gimbal for that, I mean, by no means, there's no reason you can't start with that. It flies just as well with that in the XA configuration as the GoPro does in either the S4 or XA configuration. But as mentioned earlier, professional cameras tend to be a little bit heavier, so you need a more powerful drone to support that. And this is so that no significant functionality is lost. That is, you're not compromising on what PlexiDrone is capable of, including withstanding strong winds and high speeds. And that, of course, is once again thanks to its modular design. To add to the modular design aspect, more payloads are being continuously developed by both DreamQii and third-party developers. And so as time goes by, more cameras, different types of cameras, and different brands altogether will be supported. In the same way that currently the GoPro is supported, in the same way that the RS100 is currently supported. They have their own dedicated gimbals to hold them, and you get the full experience of those cameras right now. There will be continued support for PlexiDrone for a long time. PlexiDrone, after all, was designed for the long term. With PlexiDrone, you're not stuck with some proprietary camera, because a proprietary camera can limit your creativity. With PlexiDrone, you can use the camera that you're familiar with. The same camera that you use on the ground, that you're used to shooting with, that you have spent a lot of time capturing shots with. You can just take that camera and attach it to PlexiDrone, and now you can get the same quality footage that you are always expecting from an aerial point of view. And then when it is up in the air, you're not being interrupted by a little bit of wind or anything like that. With the SA configuration, it is more stable against that type of thing, and now you have just reduced the amount of times you need to retake a shot because your drone just couldn't keep up. So as time goes by, you can upgrade just the camera. You don't have to upgrade the whole drone. And that is how you keep things professional with PlexiDrone. So what does portability, power, and professionalism have in common? It's user-friendliness. PlexiDrone is designed for people like you or me. PlexiDrone is for people who want the best experience possible from a drone. So with PlexiDrone, gone are the days where you have to carry like giant luggage around just to go flying. And you no longer have to worry about losing your screwdriver or your Allen key to set up your drone, because that's been eliminated altogether. And with PlexiDrone, the chances are way higher that you, as a creative individual, are going to get that shot that you're after. Don't let the wind get in the way, and don't ask your subject to slow down because your drone can't keep up. Capture that professional footage with a professional drone. And to make all that easy, just carry PlexiPack with you wherever you're going. Just take PlexiDrone out, snap everything in place, and you're good to go. You're ready to fly. And when I say you're ready to fly, I don't mean for just a few minutes. PlexiPack is capable of carrying 3 batteries. And what that translates into is that you can get over an hour's worth of flight very easily, without carrying anything extra, just PlexiPack. It has everything in it that you need to fly and then some, including its own compartment for a tablet. And that tablet can also fit the PlexiHub CS controller. And on that tablet, you'll be running the PlexiLink app. But I'm going to get into more detail on that in a future video, so stay tuned for that one. So anyway, I hope that today you learned about the core basics of what makes PlexiDrone. What is PlexiDrone about? How is it different? How is it smarter? How it is better than any other drone? PlexiDrone is portable, powerful, and professional. It only makes sense. Thanks for watching.